Guys, thank you so much for joining me in today's video. I'm going to be sharing some products that I purchased from the new spring summer collection that Chanel has released. It is called the Desert Dream collection, and they actually released this right before Christmas, which was a little odd to me. I was still enjoying my holiday makeup and then this was sprung up on me. So I did go ahead and purchase these products as soon as they were available through the Chanel website. I didn't pick up everything, but I did pick up everything I wanted. And with that being said, it was almost everything. So I did order these on launch day, but during that time I was in Chicago. That's when I was out there for the holidays with my family. So I ended up having them shipped to my mom's house and I started testing them out since then. All except for one product I've been using throughout the month. The one product I've only used once while I was out there, so I get a little bit into that while I'm doing the demo, but everything else I've been using and I've figured out how these products work best for me and how I enjoy them the most. So before we get into that, I do want to mention that I'm going to be doing a full face of Chanel makeup today. So I'm going to walk you by all the steps it took me to get this look here. Some of the products are actually new to me and I am using them for the very first time today, but today's video is not about that. I will just let you know which products those are. These are products that I've been wanting to use, and a few people raved about them also during their 2019 favorites videos. So I wanted to try them out for myself, and so I will be showing you a few of those as well today. So the layout of today's video is going to be a little bit different than the other videos I've posted because I did purchase both of the quads that were released in this collection. So one of them being the Elemental quad, and then I also have, which is what I'm wearing today, the Warm Memories quad. So this is what I'm wearing today, and we're going to get into the demo of this one in a little bit. First, I want to focus our attention to the Elemental palette. This is actually the one that I've used the most, but it's definitely the one I like the least. It is the one I like the least from all of the quads or just eyeshadows in general that I have from Chanel. And I think it's more so because, look, here's the thing. They perform really well. The formula is just as great as all the other Chanel quads. The thing with this one is I think it's just so dull. I do not look at this and get excited. I felt like I was forcing myself to use this palette throughout to test it out. You can see like there are dents already here. I'm not sure if you can see that. They're not as domey as they usually are because I have honestly been using this a lot. Also because I feel like I need to really layer on these shades to get them to show really good on my skin tone. I have close to a medium skin tone. For somebody like me, I really just don't feel like I can truly get away with this palette unless I want an extremely soft and subtle look. The demo I'm going to be inserting in a moment is actually the eye look that I've enjoyed the most while using this palette. Now, if you do use a really good primer, and I have been using my Fenty, what is this one actually called? It's a Pro Filter eye primer. So this one's really good at keeping your eyeshadow intact throughout the entire day, and there was a minimal fading with this one. Like sometimes once I'm applying my concealer, I just go ahead and apply it over my lids in place of using an actual eyeshadow primer, and I find that with this quad at least, that's not the best of ideas because the pigment gets lost about 6 to 8 hours in. So if you're planning on having your makeup on all day with something like this, you want to use a really good base for it. Again, it could be because of my skin tone that it just doesn't show up as much. So if you have a fair, light medium skin tone, this will probably work a lot better for you. Actually, I don't doubt it. My biggest gripe is just the fact that the shades are really, really light and it just doesn't excite me to use this. So I'm gonna go ahead and swatch these and hopefully you guys will get an idea as to how light these shades are. It's a really nice everyday eyeshadow palette. The shades in there are perfect because you can't go too smoky, you can't get out of hand with it. It's always going to stay, again, just very soft and very subtle. I know a lot of people like that, and that's great. This eyeshadow palette is probably going to be good for you. I just don't feel like it's really worth it for my collection. So I'm going to go ahead and insert the demo of me using this palette. It is what I was wearing while I did that Urban Decay Stay Naked Fix Powder Foundation wear test. So if you want to check out how it looks throughout the entire day, you can check out that video. I will have it linked down below. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get into that demo. So I first picked up the bottom right shade and applied it into my inner crease. I kind of used it as a transition, so I made sure to blend this in really well and buff it out. Next, I picked up the bottom left shade, which is a dark shade, and I applied it on the outer corner and crease to start adding some depth into this look. For the lid, I picked up the medium shade. It's the top left. It's a shimmery shade, really pretty. And just apply that all over the lid. Then with this other one that's also called a medium shade, it's the top right. It's a matte. I use that for my brow bone. Then I went back to that dark shade, bottom left, to line my upper and lower lash line. I decided to wet the brush a little bit and went in to apply a little bit more to try to intensify it. It's just not really a palette that I see myself reaching for all that often, but I can see why some people may love this. It is overall a really nice palette, just not for me. And then real quickly, I do want to talk a little bit about the Warm Memories palette. Let me actually go ahead and swatch these. The shades in here are a little bit more intense. I would say a little bit more on the bolder side. Really beautiful, like rosy, mauvey, purpley shades. And then we've got like this really nice dark peachy shade down here. And like all the other Chanel eyeshadow quads, the formula in this is just beautiful. I love to work with these eyeshadows. They're just really nice. They're pigmented, but not overly so. This is definitely something that's more up my alley. Today is the second time I use this palette, but I know what to expect with this type of formula. I went ahead and used my Fenty eyeshadow primer, and I know it's gonna hold up until I'm ready to wash my face later on today. So I really like how this looks and performs. So you guys will see that. I just didn't really do a review while I was applying this. So I wanted to let you guys know before we go on with the actual demo of today's makeup that this one I absolutely love and I think it's so worth it. And so just for the heck of it, let me go ahead and do a full face of Chanel. Almost a full face of Chanel. So I don't have an actual primer, but I am gonna use my beloved Le Beige Water Fresh Tint. So I use this in the shade medium, and I typically like to use this in place of a foundation, like when I'm having a better skin day and I don't want to do a lot of covering up or I want really light makeup. I love this product for that. But I do know that some people like to use this as a primer. I've never tried it like that, so let's just go ahead and give it a whirl, see what happens. Now today I'm going to use the other side of this Blendiful. This is from Tati Beauty, and I'm going to go ahead and just apply some right onto this puff and then spread it around my face. For today's foundation, I'm going to use this for the very first time. I have heard people rave about this foundation from Chanel. Ultra Latent, Ultrawear All Day Comfort Flawless Foundation. So I picked mine up in the shade BD31. Let's see how this one works. And then I think with this, I'm also going to go directly onto this puff. We'll do one pump at a time because I'm not quite sure how much of a full coverage this is. It does say here it's luminous matte finish, so I'm not even sure if this is full coverage or maybe it's more of a medium coverage. It looks like it's going to be more of a medium coverage. It's got that Chanel scent to it, which I actually enjoy. It's not really strong, so I do enjoy it when it's subtle. I took 2 pumps this time. I think I'm just going to kind of spread it all over real quickly. Online it says it is a long-wearing, full coverage foundation that provides 24-hour wear with a flawless matte finish. I'm trying to get the hang of doing like this rolling motion with this puff. is nice. It feels really lightweight and it gave really, really good coverage. So far, it's pretty nice. For bronzer, let's go in with the Soleil Tan De Chanel. And again, using this Blendiful, I'm just gonna dip straight in there and bronze up my face a little bit. I'm using the Chanel Longwear Concealer. This one's in the shade Beige. I think it's 30 Beige. I'm going to set this with the Chanel Natural Finish Loose Powder. I ended up picking up the shade 30 Natural, which is the translucent 2. And let's see how this applies. Ooh. I feel like it darkened up my under eyes a little bit. I think it's still okay though. So this here is how it looks inside. So it actually looks like a very light beige shade. Whatever's left, we'll just do the rest of the skin. Okay, before finishing up the rest of the face, I just want to start doing my eyes already. This is usually my favorite part of my makeup routine. So using my Fenty Beauty eye primer, I'm just going to apply it and then blend it in with my finger. For today's eye look, we're going to use this beautiful spring summer quad that Chanel just released. This one's called Warm Memories. I'm going to pick up my Sigma E38 brush and I'm going to dip into this shade up here. I'm going to apply this here in the outer portion of my crease. And let's do kind of an ombre effect. So now I'm going to pick up this beautiful shimmery shade here with the same brush. I'm going to apply this in the inner portion above the crease here. It is a really stunning shade. This palette I've only used once before, and honestly, it wasn't in the best lighting. This is when I was, it was actually when I got it in while I was staying at my mom's house for the holidays. And so unfortunately, the room I was staying in does not have the best lighting. And then plus, especially out there, it gets dark really, really early. So by the time I was getting ready to go out for the evening, it was just too dark out. It was poor lighting. So I just threw on a few shades and went about my day. So I really haven't given this a chance. Using my MAC 242, I'm going to pick up this shade here. And this is going to go all over the lid. Back with the E38 brush and tapping over this darker shade. Just want to pick up a little bit of this now to deepen up this outer portion of the eye. So new G Pencil Pro brush, picking up that dark shade again. Applying this in the outer portion of the bottom lash line. Same brush and we'll pick up this shade that we used first. Kind of go below that and then bring it in more. Applying some of that peachy shade here in the inner corners. So from this Desert Dream collection, they released 2 of these Stylo Ombre Eclat pencils. I only picked up this one in the shade Contour Mauve just because I don't have anything like this. So this here is the shade. It's definitely a mauve-y like shade. I would say it's got a hint of rosiness in it and some brown. So I'm going to go ahead and line my top lash line with this. I've really been enjoying the look of this while using other eyeshadows and then lining this top lash line as I'm doing right now. I just feel like it does a little something. It's barely noticeable, especially with the shade I used on my lid, but it does a little something. I also really enjoy this in my waterline, so we'll go ahead and apply it on the waterline as well. And there it is. I really, really like this. And I have a few of these of these pencils in this same formula. They're really great. I do recommend them if you're eyeing any colors. They're nice. So I don't have a Chanel mascara. I know I have some samples, but I guess I don't have any down here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use my LANCOME Grandiose Extreme mascara. All right, so we're all done with the eyes. I love how these colors look together. They did such a great job with this quad. Just love it so much. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish the face. So now I'm gonna use the Eclat Nude Desert. So first of all, it looks really pretty, but this is extremely, extremely powdery. Even right now, it actually looks as if it were sand, like really fine. And you know what? It's like sand that you would find at a beach when it's a little bit wet. This is exactly how it feels. It's how it moves. If you were to put any type of pressure on here, it just kind of molds towards the direction that you're swatching this. So I try to be very careful. The thing is that I don't feel like this is the nicest highlight I own. Honestly, I feel like this is like one of the highlighters that I've been most disappointed in a very, very long time. And it's a little bit more upsetting because it's Chanel and I expect so much more from this brand than what I'm getting with this highlighter. So with my Surratt highlighting brush, I picked up some and that picked up a ton. Again, I think because of my swatch. So let me tap off some of this. And then, oh, I did get some fallout with those shadows. Not ridiculous, but a little bit. Okay. Oh, that was easy to remove. Not on this side. It was mostly just a little bit right there. Okay. So I'm gonna apply this. And it's very subtle, which again, I'm okay with subtle highlights, but this one just doesn't do it for me as a highlighter. I feel like it just kind of sits on my skin, but it clings on to my texture. So where I have texture, it looks shinier. And then everywhere else, it just looks like it's just chilling there. It's not really wanting to work with my skin, with the rest of my makeup. I'm just not very happy with this. So the way that I've actually been enjoying it a little bit more is actually using like a bigger, fluffier brush, which by the way, I don't have one down here like that. So I'm gonna use this big old guy here. I'm gonna use the powder brush and we'll tap in here and then I'll do it on this side. And I like to kind of do more of a wider area. And then it gives a nice luminosity and glow to my skin. Whereas if I just focus in one area, I don't like it that much, honestly. So I've been enjoying it with a big brush like this. And this one actually picked up quite a bit. And just going all over the higher points of my face. So I am happy I found a way to utilize this highlighter in a way that I enjoy it. So I do really like it like this. And like this, I think my skin looks really nice, very glowy, a little bit more natural. It's still emphasizing my texture, but that just is what it is. I do have some illuminating products that don't emphasize my texture. So of course, I'm gonna lean more towards products like those than something like this. But I already have it, so I'm going to try and make the best out of that. I did also pick up this from the collection. It is the Balm Essential. It's a multi-use stick in the shade Golden Light. And this is how it looks. I've used this actually quite a bit. And let's put it here on this side. And this is, it's kind of like the name suggests, it's like a balm. I've only gotten this type of like pigment when I swatch it. When I apply it all over my face, it's a very subtle and it is very glowy. It really gives that wet look. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to apply this. Today I'm gonna apply it a little bit differently because I'm still trying to get as much use out of this as I can. So I'm picking it up with a clean edge here. And then we'll just tap it. It is so pretty. I really have been loving this. So I feel like applying it with this, it definitely adds more of that pigment that's on this. Because usually I would just grab like a brush like this, something synthetic, pick up a little bit and then just tap it. But I think it's picking up more product with this, or maybe I'm just going in a little bit heavier. So I feel like it is showing up a little bit more of that color, but it doesn't, to me, I don't think it looks bad. If you don't like a lot of makeup using, honestly, I haven't done it, but I think using these two products, oh my gosh, your skin will look so beautiful. I'm gonna have to try that. I'm really gonna have to give that a try. So that's really nice. I have been enjoying that glow stick. For blush, I'm gonna use this Chanel Tweed Pink. It's a little bit subtle on me, but it's not bad. Like, it's kind of that perfect pink. Really pretty. So Chanel had just recently released some new lip liners. I picked up one and I played it a little safe here. I got the shade Nude Brulant, and it's got a brush on one end here, very similar to the Sisley lip liners, and this is the shade I got. So I'm gonna apply this, although the lipstick that I have for today is from that Desert Dream line, so I'm not sure how it's gonna look with this, but let's give it a try. So I'm gonna line my lips real quick and fill them in a little. I really like the formula of this lip liner. To me, it's very comparable to the Sisley ones. Really nice because it's creamy, but not too creamy where it just slides right on and you feel like it's not gonna be very long lasting. It's creamy, but still a little bit tough where it's just right that you're not pulling on your lips while applying it. So far, it's a really, really nice formula. Let me actually blend this out a little bit with the brush side. Oh, I have to, it's stiff when you first get it. Okay, there we go. I think it was a really good choice to go with that shade. All right, so the lipstick I picked up, they did release a few, but I had to go with the Rouge Allure. And this one's in the shade 191. So it's one of those where this is technically the cap. And it's got this on one end, you press down, sticks up, and then you pull out the lipstick with a bullet. So this here is the shade, another very springy shade here, very pink. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this over this lip liner. They kind of have like a balmy texture. Oh, I love these lipsticks. All right guys, so that's it as far as today's video. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. Until next time.